Hello, everybody. I want to talk about different pasts and different futures. The world changes, and that change is advantageous to some and disadvantageous to others. Those that are most successful in changing and challenging times are those that have some control over their future and can best adapt to the future that arises. We've learned that the past is the best predictor of the present, and the present is the best predictor of the future. So understanding where you've been gives you the best vantage point to understand where you may go. In that light, here's some thoughts. In some cases, the mid-20th century was the apex of the United States. Economically, military, and politically, its powers were at its zenith. Socially, the United States enjoyed rising economic standards, very low crime, and social harmony. Sadly, some weren't treated fairly and respectfully in society. It's a dark period of the United States history. It's one that my generation simply can't understand because we were raised differently. But it is a time in our history, and what we've learned from history is that those destined not to learn will repeat it. Our generation won't. Our society is on a much better plane, not perfect, but a much better plane than it was generation previous, and it will continue to get better. Economically, of course, in a different country from our parents and grandparents, it's much more difficult. Companies that were listed on the Standard & Poor's in 1920 averaged 64 years on that index. By 1998, they lasted 10 years. It's even less today. In 1979, imports from low-wage countries were 1.6% of our nation's GDP. That's way more than triple today. One statistic is quite telling. 46% of profits made by those companies listed on the Standard & Poor's top 500 companies came from outside the United States. Many of these companies are making most of their money overseas rather than the United States. Changing economics changed industries, and changing industries changed society. And the result is that more have been disadvantaged than advantaged, at least so many believe. The U.S. today struggles to balance its public finances, employ its citizens, competently manage a host of government programs, create and sustain world-class infrastructure, educate its citizens, and manufacture its goods and services at a competently and competitively quality and price. These did not exist 50 years ago. Yet the path is quite simple. The path to success means that 80% of today's wealthy did not inherit their wealth, but created their wealth during their lifetime. And 2/3 of all millionaires own a business. That means that you can make it on your own. In this country, you still can work hard, sacrifice both in terms of time and money, and you can take a risk. All of those result in the type of life that you want to have and the type of life that you want to lead. It's still possible to attain the American dream, if you so want it. In the first half of the 20th century, the ascendancy of the United States coincided with the decline of the European powers. This afforded the United States a unique opportunity to dominate domestic and world markets to the benefit of nearly everyone. Ambition and initiative cannot be discounted, but neither was luck. The government was able to create and expand services and benefits throughout society. But times change and the worlds move on. Benevolence was not destined to last. Wealth is often earned and then squandered. Companies grow but inevitably falter. Countries dominate an era until their era ends. The carousel has stopped turning for some, but for those who display a sense of gratefulness for the opportunities they've been given, who work hard to achieve their ambitions, and who accept responsibility for the choices in their lives, the future has never been brighter. Life, as we know, is a series of choices, most made by individuals, but a few made by others. And the United States remains a country where the best can get better, and the less fortunate can become fortunate. Opportunity is not given democratically, but it is given. And those that are willing to work hard and pay any price can still achieve whatever ambitions are in their path. It can be done, and I wish you the best as you try. Take care.